In this section of the course, we will delve deeper into devising strategies to specifically work on conflict resolution and negotiation strategies. Consider what types of conflict may be present within your teams, your departments, and your organizations. How can cultural sensitivity and competency positively influence conflict resolution and negotiation? As surgical leaders, you make decisions that can and do affect your teams. What role does cultural competency play in how people approach negotiations? Consider how you may influence a situation if there is a lack of cultural awareness or sensitivity toward a patient from a marginalized group or groups. On the left side of the infographic, the benefits of having strong negotiation skills are quite clear. But let's dig a little deeper into the right side of the image, entitled Core Competencies. Cultural sensitivity and competency play a critical role in conflict resolution and negotiation across various levels. Here's how they positively influence each of the 4 core areas. The personal level helps us recognize our own cultural biases, assumptions, and communication styles to then better enable us to approach conflict with an open mind and reduce defensive reactions. As a culturally competent person, you can adjust your communication style and approach based on the cultural context of the conflict or negotiation. As we shift clockwise to the interpersonal level, understanding and respecting cultural differences in communication, conflict styles, and decision-making fosters stronger relationships and trust between individuals, both colleague to colleague and medical practitioner to patient. By acknowledging and valuing diverse perspectives, it becomes easier to find mutually beneficial solutions and avoid adversarial stances. At the organizational level, culturally competent conflict resolution strategies ensure that all employees feel heard and valued, reducing workplace tension and increasing engagement. Organizations that prioritize cultural sensitivity create policies that accommodate diverse needs, preventing conflicts related to discrimination, bias, or exclusion. Surgical leaders who navigate with cultural competency lay the foundation for diverse teams more effectively, mediating conflict in ways that align with employees as well as your patient's cultural expectations and values. And finally, the community and systems level. In diverse communities and teams, culturally competent conflict resolution fosters understanding and reduces tensions between groups with different identities and cultural backgrounds. Addressing systemic inequities, recognizing cultural barriers within legal, educational, and healthcare systems enables institutions to develop fairer, more inclusive policies. Surgical leaders who practice cultural sensitivity can build stronger relationships with stakeholders, ensuring more inclusive decision-making processes. Please take a few moments to reflect upon the following objectives and key takeaways for this module. List several examples of microaggressions and how they may have long-term impact on physicians. Describe several strategies to intervene or diffuse difficult situations where you may experience conflict. Reflect on your own conflict management and reaction style. And finally, discuss different conflict management styles and how cultural competence may impact conflict management and language surrounding conflict resolution. Let's delve even deeper into devising strategies to address issues around inclusion, specifically focusing on conflict resolution and negotiation strategies. Our first step will be to examine the role of microaggressions in perpetuating inequities and discuss methods to intervene and diffuse these situations. To begin, We will define what a microaggression is and examine what it can sound and feel like through a series of brief videos. A microaggression is a term used for brief and commonplace verbal, behavioral, or environmental indignities, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative prejudicial slights and insults toward any group. A microaggression can be experienced by anyone, but is most often experienced by historically marginalized groups. The following videos provide a few examples of common microaggressions.
Hey, is that Cindy over there?
I don't know who that is.
Man, I can't tell Asians apart.
Can't tell Asians apart. I've been hearing that my whole life. That means you don't see me. We're not all the same, you know.
I'm not ollieing high enough.
You're getting it, though.
I need to tighten my trucks more and lift my back foot higher. I could do better.
Man, you're not like the other black dudes I know.
Not like other black dudes. Does he really think all black guys are alike? I'm tired of hearing that. Pass me that?
Yeah.
By the way, I got in.
Oh my God, where?
Columbia.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How'd you get into that school?
How did I get into that school? Does she think I'm not smart enough? And don't bring up affirmative action. I've earned this.
We gotta go.
Yeah, let's take a selfie first.
Hey, wanna be in the picture with us?
Sure. Mwah.
Great photo.
Flawless. You're so pretty for a dark girl.
Pretty for a dark girl. Is that supposed to be a compliment? Well, it's not, and it hurts that people don't think my skin color is beautiful.
Let's go.
Let's go.
What up, Nassim?
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, man?
Good, I'm good.
Bin Laden.
Oh,
really?
We're just kidding, bro. Yeah.
Bin Laden? I'm so sick of hearing stupid terrorist jokes. Doesn't matter what I do.
What does this mean?
Oh, it's a chai, a Jewish symbol for life.
You're Jewish?
Yeah.
You don't look Jewish.
I don't look Jewish? What does that mean? What are Jews supposed to look like?
It is an ethos that is echoed in countless political speeches, works of literature, and films.
Sounds great, Diego.
Thank you.
You're so well spoken.
Thanks.
Where are your parents from again?
Guatemala. Why?
Because your English is so good.
My English is so good. I'm from here. I grew up speaking English and Spanish. Why don't people get that?
With just a few examples of microaggressions at the forefront of your mind, please take a moment to write down your thoughts pertaining to the following prompts. What is an example of a microaggression you have experienced or witnessed in your medical practice? As a team leader, how can you intervene effectively when faced with these conflicts? Based upon a contemporary article in Harvard Business Review that highlights the impact of microaggressions in the workplace, this image demonstrates how microaggressions have long-term impact on those who experience it. It is also worth noting that this data has manifested across a myriad of fields, including and beyond medicine and the corporate sector. The New England Journal of Medicine also specifically examines how discrimination may impact surgical resident wellness and burnout. Much of the data represented on this slide speaks to the significant mistreatment of women in medicine and its repercussions. In this study by JAMA Surgery, the data focuses on the impact of discrimination on surgical residents with respect to race and ethnicity. The numbers are disheartening, but as surgical leaders, you can continue or become more intentional about how your example sets the tone for your teams. We all carry with us some level of bias, defined as a prejudice toward or an unfair characterization of others based upon identity factors such as gender, sexual orientation, age, citizenship, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, ability, and more. Because biases often form at an early age and develop over a lifetime of exposure to certain behaviors and attitudes, we may not even be aware of what our biases are. Having bias is normal, human in fact, which does not make us bad people. We should, however, try to acknowledge bias when we become aware of it for ourselves, and then strive to develop a more inclusive mindset, particularly in our professional communities. As you examine the contents of this slide and the final one following it, you may find these role-playing examples to be a helpful aid when determining how to respond to microaggressions and bias. While there is no one-size-fits-all response, practice makes progress when thinking about what you might do or say when confronted with such a situation. When having difficult conversations, it is essential to try to demonstrate grace by giving others the room to make mistakes and offer them the chance to recalibrate. We also need to extend the same grace to ourselves when we blunder. Oftentimes, we don't know how profoundly the things we say and do affect others, even with the best of intentions. Learning more about our hidden biases and assumptions, as revealed by others' reactions to our words, can yield great insight and self-awareness. To help build a positive work and treatment environment, consider the role of microaffirmations. Microaffirmations are small ways that we can actively create a positive working culture and a respectful treatment environment, establishing a sense of inclusion and belonging for both coworkers and patients. These actions invite others in, demonstrate respect for their identities, elevate their voices, and enable them to feel seen, heard, and valued. When we are willing to engage with people who have different identities, backgrounds, and experiences than our own, we take important steps in establishing a positive, collaborative atmosphere while also expanding our individual perspectives. With intentionality and the suspension of judgment, it is possible to cultivate a positive organizational culture that helps to attract and retain top talent while elevating patient care.